out there now. If that's not Creosote, exactly what I said, word for word, quote. If they're not Creosote, why, if y'all didn't do anything, why it up? Well, we just doing a neighbor, helping the neighbor out, doing a favor for them. We see that they need help to clean the mess up. We just want to help them. They was over here cleaning up what they said wasn't Creosote. And what they cleaned up, we're still on job site right now. Two those dumpsters, the green dumpster, still sitting on job site right now. What they cleaned up, what they said wasn't Creosote.
Kerr-McGee plant manager Ron Murphy is fully aware of some of the conclusions that many people are making against Kerr-McGee over land contamination lawsuits in Columbus. One being that because Kerr-McGee employees have remained publicly silent, it must mean they have something to hide.
It's partially our fault for not coming out and telling our story. I think, Karen, that there's a good story here to be told with Kerr-McGee.
As time went on, they told us when stuff was about to hit the fan, it was like we couldn't talk, or if we were approached by the media or anything like that, just walk away or don't say anything unless you were represented by one of Kerr-McGee's people with you. Almost like you were being coached to say this and say that, and in case you ever was approached by the media.
Yeah, management used to tell us to keep our ears open. If we hear anything, we're supposed to report it to management. We can't tell them what we do. We can't talk to nobody at Maranatha, none of the people in the public, Mount Zion Church, nobody. We can't talk to nobody. And they will, if we do talk to somebody, we got to tell them what we talked about if they ask us any question. And it was a hush-hush thing. And if we talk to in public, we will get fired.
When you first heard about Pastor Jameson's and Maranatha's lawsuit, what were the people who were in charge at the plant saying to you guys as workers of Kerr-McGee about Pastor Jameson and about his lawsuit?
They were saying all he wanted to do was try to get some money to build a new church. They told us don't pay no attention to him, don't even talk to him. Then they had lawyers come down and talk to us, and he told us it was best for us to keep our mouth shut or we'll be in trouble.
The lawyers from Kerr-McGee told y'all that?
The lawyer from Kerr-McGee come and told us that.
Repeat that. The lawyers from Kerr-McGee said what to you all?
A lawyer from with Kerr-McGee official with Bob Nicholson came down and told us it was best to keep our mouth shut or we'll be in trouble.
They thought they were trying to get rich off the company, and they thought they were wrong, and people were just, you know, doing the wrong thing against Kerr-McGee.
One of the guys from management, Chuck Sons, was just a bunch of druggies and alcoholics here anyway. It's just trying to get some money.
He referred to the people who were filing the lawsuit as
He referred to the people who lived in Columbus. That's exactly what came out of his mouth. They take drugs. It's just a way to bring money into their pockets. We went to a church meeting, the church right across from Kerr-McGee. I can't think of the name right now. Right across 14th Avenue, right there in front of Kerr-McGee. We had a meeting there, 7 o'clock that night. About 300 people showed up. Mr. William O. Cologne was giving the presentation about how the future was going to happen based on the lawsuit. Most of the employees of Columbus Forest Products showed up. We were sitting in there, we were sitting in the back, and we were listening to Cologne how he said it was a done deal. And this was before, weeks before, corporate office, people from the corporate level of Oklahoma City came down and explained to us how they were never going to settle this case.
In a statement released today, a corporate spokesperson said their Columbus operation had never harmed anyone, and that this is simply an effort by enterprising lawyers to promote a lawsuit by creating fear through misinformation. They point to recent EPA and OSHA recognitions as proof the plant is safe and environmentally responsible.
We were going to fight it. They did nothing wrong. A couple weeks later, we went to this meeting, found out William O. Cologne, who was trying to settle the case, got $50-some million. How it was over and it was done. Settled. Questions arose how the money was going to be dispersed. Questions arose if you get the numbers of people and businesses to sign up in order to disperse the money. And that's when he said it was a done deal. It was finished, completely done. The opposite of what we were told from the management. That got us pretty mad and outraged because there was about 6,500 people signed up with the lawyer. Of course, we went back to work the next day. For some reason, the management found out some of the employees actually showed up to the meeting. It was mentioned about employees showing up to the meeting. Of course, we never stepped forward and state who exactly showed up, but it was mentioned that he knew that employees from Kerr-McGee showed up, and if they showed up, would they come to this office and speak with him? Of course, I was in that group. I never showed up and spoke with them. Sometime after that, they released, after that mention, they came back and said, we're not going to settle any type of lawsuit. And then a month later, here it comes. They released a letter to our management. I think it was Chuck Swan who read it, the letter stating that they had the ending of the settlement. It basically had reached a settlement to the lawyer, William O. Cologne, for the lawsuit. In fact, you're including the mayor of the city of Columbus, Jeffrey Rupp, who was also there. He even made a statement himself stating that he didn't see anything. He was clean. I actually sent him pictures personally myself in the mail, showing otherwise. Whether he looked at them or made a statement about them, I never knew. I personally sent him pictures the day before and the day after he had come and gone. Well, I mean, in order to add up to that statement that Kerr-McGee was clean, we had to shut the plant down and work that whole day of cleaning that plant in order for them to come out the very next day and see that plant as clean as it was. We had to shut the plant down. There's no operations going on that day except to clean up that plant. They showed up the very next day and saw a very clean plant, thankful for the employees' work and labor for it.
Well, we done a lot of cover-up work, raking, put down fresh gravel, just say if we had a spot that had Chris on it, we'd rake out everything now. Normally you can rake dust over there out of the cupboard, then you put fresh gravel and stuff over it. That would do away with all this. It wouldn't do away with it, just camouflage.
So a lot of times to get rid of creosote or hydraulic oil, one's as bad as the other. The hydraulic oil and creosote mixed up everywhere, they just dump it on the road.
On the plant?
On the plant, on the main roads. A lot of times what they say is, just let the trucks drive over it. The trucks will stir it up. But that never happened during Dog and Pony Show day.
Cover it up. Cover it up and keep going.
We done a lot of cover-up work.
Which is their tradition. Let's cover it up.
Throw some gravel on it, throw some dirt over it, and cover it up.
Put some fresh dirt over it. Cover it up, nobody knows it.
My supervisor, Donnie Yarbrough, covered it up.
And they would just cover it up with sawdust and dirt.
Constantly bringing in new material to cover up.
Cover it up and keep going.
Sure, it was coming to private policy to cover it up.
I heard not just from Greg Alexander, but from managers above me.
They are local.
On the plant level locally, this is not a good career move to turn in more than 1 pound because it's going to affect us all as far as our raising scoreboards.
So they didn't come right out and say don't do it, but instead they said it's a bad career move, it's going to affect our raising scoreboard.
Yeah. They never came out directly and said do not report this, but if you did report it, they asked you to change it.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and sometimes, all those documents went in directly into the plant manager's office. So ultimately, he was responsible for all those documents. So all the ones that went in there, he saw, what we filled out.
So they'd ask you to change the report.
Right.
And that is to change it from being more than 1 pound to less.
Yes.
Follow the law, Mississippi DEQ and US EPA. We followed everything that they've asked us to do and been proactive in those measures. So